Hey guys, here we go into a film study on Sergey Kovalev. In this video, we're going to talk about his offense and his defense, and we're going to talk a little bit about the fact that he has an active guard. Hopefully, it kind of sees, but he has great feints, great probes. But real quick, I just want to shout out. I recently started a Facebook page. The link will be in the description, as well as a Twitter. So follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. Like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about the video at the end. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into it. And I know I've done a lot of film on Shabransky. I've done a lot because it's just the epitome of good boxing and smart boxing, what he did to Shabransky. And Shabransky has a win over a Cuban Olympian, Yunieski Gonzalez. I believe he was a Cuban Olympian. Also a very good fighter. Not like a great fighter, but even though Kovalev kind of made short work of him, Shabransky is no joke. He's a tough fighter. He's very, very tough, very hard to beat. But Kovalev made it look really easy. So we're going to kind of talk about some of that stuff. And the first thing that I want to talk about is right at the beginning of the fight. Kovalev flashes his lead hand, right? He's going to flash his lead hand and shoot that right hand to the body. Boom. So he uses a very basic feint, and it gets Shabransky to let his hands go, right? Watch how Shabransky, as Kovalev steps forward with his jab, Shabransky shoots his jab, but Kovalev slips it, shoots a right hand to the body, and Kovalev figures out right away that Shabransky is trying to punch with him. Right off of that, Kovalev does something very, very, very smart, and this is very important. He starts probing with his lead hand, right? Just watch his lead hand come out, boom, boom, just a little bit, right? See how he probes right there? And Shabransky, because he's never seen this style before, he doesn't understand it. He's never fought anyone as clever or crafty or experienced as Kovalev, thinks that those probes are jabs, right? And says, hey, I need to take away Kovalev's jab by countering him, right? And that's the way that Shabransky is showing what his layer of defense is. And this is how Kovalev is layering his offense with probes to get a sense of how Shabransky is going to defend himself. So what he's doing is looking at Shabransky and saying, hey, how do you want to defend yourself from a jab? Right? And Shabransky says, oh, this is my layer of defense. So by Kovalev using his layer of offense, the probe, bop, bop, just not even trying to hit Shabransky, not trying to hurt him, not trying to, accomplish anything other than getting a look and gaining information from Shabransky. Shabransky voluntarily tells him, hey, when you jab at me, I'm going to counter your jab with my own jab. And if for those of you that haven't seen those videos, and I'll have links in the description for layering your offense and layering your defense as well. Check them out. They're great videos. They really teach a lot of the fundamentals of good boxing. Good boxing, not just being an athlete, not just running out there and, mashing your punching skill or your punching power and speed against your opponent's punching power and speed and kind of tossing a coin, but real boxing skill. And Kovalev is a fine example of this. And then after that, Kovalev steps with his jab right here, catches Shabransky with the jab, and Shabransky again catches him with his own jab as well, countering him, further solidifying the fact that Shabransky is going to look to counter Kovalev's jab. Now, this is beautiful, you guys. This is real craft. What Kovalev does after this, he says, oh, so when I jab at him, and look at Kovalev's jab, he steps here, right? And now he's going to step with his jab here. Shabransky slips it, and Kovalev says, hey, I know the jab is coming, and catches it, right? He's ready for it. Now, what I mean by craft is Kovalev uses his jab. He usually uses a lot of probing, a lot of feinting, a lot of head movement, but he already understands how Shabransky is going to defend himself, so he can kind of dispose of a lot of these tactics and just continue to bait Shabransky with the jab. So he continues to set the punches up and getting Shabransky comfortable jabbing with him by shooting a jab here, right, and then ducking the counter, right? He's so punching with head movement. So far he's caught the jab, knowing that the jab is coming. He's slipped the jab, or ducked the jab in this case. And then this one, he feints him. Whoops, I think he missed it. So he feints right here when he comes forward, right, on the same timing of stepping with his jab. And he feints him, and Shabransky puts his gloves up and goes, oh, I don't want to punch with him because he's catching me, right? So Kovalev then steps and shoots the jab to the body instead, making an adjustment. And then Shabransky tries to jab him back. Now he feints, and now look at this. This is a really subtle feint, right? So look at when he steps on his front foot. Boom, right? He gives him a subtle feint, right? And then Shabransky puts his gloves up and then tries to counter him again. Now Kovalev gives him the same feint on that front foot. It's just really subtle. It's really hard to see, especially with the referee walking in front of you. But he goes boom, and then he goes bah, right? And he gives him this little subtle feint. We'll watch it again. But he comes forward on that front foot and then gives him a subtle feint. And Shabransky says, hey, he's going to jab me. And Kovalev, off of this timing, off of all these jabs that he's continued to shoot, right, and safely, remembering that the jab is coming from Shabransky. We'll go ahead and go back. The jab is coming from Shabransky, and that's how Shabransky is layering his defense, catching the jab, ducking the jab, and then feinting the jab to get Shabransky to continue this layer of defense and think it's going to be successful. He uses that same timing to feint, and you can see him do it right here. He feints forward, and then he tries to get the pull counter. You can see him kind of moving out of the way. But he's getting Shabransky used to thinking that it's only going to be a jab, and he sets up a trap off of this timing, and then does a kind of a pull counter, comes over the top with a great right hand that he set up with the same timing, the same movement as he would shoot and step with the jab, and gets Shabransky to counter the jab, or try to, and walk him into a right hand. Beautiful boxing from him. And then again, he does the same thing here in this clip, where he comes forward, steps on that front foot, makes Shabransky think it's going to be a jab, and then shoots a right hand instead and catches him with the knockdown. Brilliant boxing. And then he continues to layer his offense with those feints and getting Shabransky to react poorly, right? Or getting Shabransky to do the right thing, countering the jab. And it's interesting that I want to point this out real quick, that it's very common. I'm not trying to put nobody on blast, but you'll hear, you never hook with a hooker, but you want to jab with a jabber. And what we see in this fight right here is case in point that that's not always true, that these are not rules for boxing, because you have to know what you're doing with it, right? Now, the interesting thing is Kovalev or Shabransky could be doing the same tactic because they're both fighting on the same axis of using the jab. Shabransky could be setting traps with his own right hand as well. He's just not as smart. He's not as clever, and he's not able to do that kind of stuff in the first round of a fight, right? And now we have Kovalev right here. Whoops, it went so far back, I don't know why. Shooting the jab, moving off the line. If you watch his feet, we'll go back and watch it one more time. But he shoots the jab, right? Moves completely off the line to the side, and then gets Shabransky to jab with him, all in the hopes that he could set that right hand up. Unfortunately for him, Shabransky moves off the line as well, and that's something that he hadn't been doing before. Otherwise, he would have eaten that right hand again. And then we have the final clip of Kovalev's offense. Again, picking up on the fact that the only way that Shabransky knows how to control the space between him and his opponent is with a hard jab, and the way that he defends himself is countering by committing to this jab. Kovalev is able to shoot this jab, get Shabransky to put himself out of position while he slips the jab, the counter jab that he knows is coming from Shabransky, and knock him down, boom, with a great right hand right there. Beautiful boxing, great trap setting, and all of that is in the first round. All of that is in the first round that Kovalev has made these adjustments. He's picked up on what his opponent is doing, and he's made him pay for it. Brilliant. Oh, and then here's the last knockdown. Shoots the jab, slips the jab again from Shabransky, and then clocks him with another right hand, and then drops him again. All at the same timing, the same feinting, the same pattern. And what I mean by craft is that not only can he shoot the jab, but he can feint the jab off of this timing and then come in with the right hand. It's as if, his opponent thinks that he has a counter, a way to take away Kovalev's jab, but because Kovalev has done this before, he's seen this tactic before, he already has a game plan for it. And that's what I mean by craft, right? Now, the next step would be if kind of like what Andre Ward did, right, where Andre Ward soon figured out that when that lead hand was coming out, right, that you don't want to engage with Kovalev. Kovalev is controlling the space between you and him, and he's hoping to elicit a reaction from you, probing, right? And then he can take advantage of that reaction. And what Andre Ward did was break those layers simply just by moving off the line and not engaging him, not putting himself into a position. But anyway, moving on. Now, another source of offense for Kovalev, he doesn't have to always set it up with the right hand like that and counter with those layers. He has a great ability to adjust his attacks and think on the fly. So he's already established in this scene that Shabransky is looking to jab with him, and he's already looking to set up the right hand. But as you can see in this film, he shoots this jab, takes this step like he's going to shoot the right hand, right? And then just probes with it instead of shooting it, you know? And there's a timing that's a little different because he's waiting for that jab to come from Shabransky so he can counter over it, but it doesn't come this time. So what does he do? He shoots a 2-1 instead and kind of follows Shabransky rather than, and that's because of the fact that Shabransky didn't counter him in this simple engagement. And then again, he does the same thing here, and you can see the timing is different, where he's waiting for that jab to come and he sees that it doesn't, and then he shoots the 2-1 again. Now, I think this is going to be something that's pretty effective against Eleider Alvarez, especially once we start talking about how Kovalev defends himself and his defense. He has brilliant defense in spite of the fact that it doesn't look like he has any at all. Part of that defense is the fact that he can probe with the jab, he can feint, he feints really well, and he constantly has you thinking, constantly has you readjusting because he has the power to hurt you with either hand, and you always have to be wary of it. But we're going to go ahead and get into some of his offense, and this is his defense, and this is really important defense, you guys. This is like, you know, super important, especially for his fight against Eleider Alvarez. So he shoots the jab, right, and Shabransky is able to pick up on the timing because he steps with the jab, right? See how he steps and he kind of shoots out of position so he can adjust himself into landing a right hand, right? But Shabransky ducks it, and instead of allowing Shabransky to duck it, shoot the jab to the body, and come over the top with the right hand while Kovalev is out of position, he shoots that jab and then controls Shabransky and pushes him off, right? Controlling him and blocking him from being able to transfer his weight and maintain control of his body. Now, it's mildly controversial. A lot of people think that you shouldn't be allowed to do this, but it's basically the same thing as infighting. That's exactly what you do when you're fighting on the inside. You're putting pressure on your opponent with your forearms to create space. You push them, boom. You're just doing it at a farther distance, right? You're just doing it at a little bit farther of a distance, and there's nothing wrong with it. I don't exactly like how he does it on his head right there at first, but look at how he transfers his weight to the collarbone and he controls him and pushes him off. I don't have a problem with that at all. It's a little bit excessive of the pushing. I agree with that, but again, it's basically just infighting. Fighting when you're close to your opponent. Just because you're not bodied up doesn't mean that it's not fighting on the inside. And again, shooting the jab, right? He misses. And now this is his opponent's opportunity to counter. And what does Kovalev do? He controls his opponent, pushes him off, moves off the line. Now this is brilliant right here. I want to talk about this. Now there's a difference between moving straight back in a straight line, right? And as you see, Kovalev is taking a step back. And then he changes angles, right? So he takes a step back, and then he knows that the right hand might come, so he takes another step back and moves head slots, right? Defensive responsibility, understanding that the punch that he just slipped is not going to be the one that's the one to come next, right? And then he comes back, and this is brilliant. Then he feints his opponent and makes him think he's going to shoot a jab, right? Remember with those little tiny foot feints where he's like, pop, right? Boom, right? And he does that because he has this in and out style, and he just gives him this quick look, and Shabransky thinks immediately that it's going to be a jab, as we can see here. He gives him a quick pop, you know? And then Shabransky shoots the jab, he slips it, and walks him into another right hand. Again, brilliant, brilliant. And he's doing that from a defensive position where Shabransky is putting pressure on him. And then again, a really good example, shooting the jab, it gets ducked, and Kovalev ducks the next punch or the next counter that might be coming from Shabransky if it was a right hand, and then controls him with his forearm. Perfectly legal. You're just not allowed to do this in the amateurs, and there's a lot of controversy about that. But controls him and pushes him off and stops him from being able to land any punches. Now this is going to be very important in the fight with Eleider Alvarez, and when I do the final breakdown of that fight tomorrow, I think I might also actually do a video on Parker and White, but it'll be kind of a rushed video. I haven't done any film on Parker in a while, so I have to relearn some of the stuff about him. But when we talk about Kovalev and Eleider Alvarez, we'll talk more important, like why those defensive postures are so important against Eleider Alvarez. And now we're going to move into the last one of Kovalev's defense's timing. He does basically the same thing that Shabransky was doing. Shabransky looking to time him off that step with the jab. But here you can see, why did I go so far back? Shabransky starts feinting him, and what does Kovalev do immediately? He sticks out his lead hand and controls Shabransky, and Shabransky has to reset. Right? Kovalev takes a step back. This is going to be very important against Eleider Alvarez because Eleider Alvarez has very, very basic attacks. He flashes his lead hand and then comes in with his own right hand. And if Kovalev is able to probe and control the space between him and Eleider Alvarez, he's going to be able to break that layer very easily. And we'll talk more about that later. But then we have Shabransky stepping with his punch. Watch him step with his jab here. He's going to step with his jab. Whoops. Step with his jab. And Kovalev easily slips it, boom, and shoots a right hand to the body, right? Also electing to defend himself with counter punches from his static defense. And again, Shabransky stepping back. Man, I don't know why it's doing 4 seconds, but Shabransky starts stepping with that jab, and you know it's coming. Kovalev slips the jab and counters with his own jab to the body. Counters his own jab to the body. And then Shabransky, this is really important for a Eleider Alvarez fight too. Eleider Alvarez likes to jab to the body as well, or set punches up to the body when he's feinting and flashing that lead hand. And Shabransky looks to step with his jab here, and Kovalev is easily able to catch him with the jab and break his rhythm and stop him from coming in with any more shots. So we have, I'll go ahead and play the video through one more time. The probing style, picking up on the fact that Shabransky is looking to defend himself with a jab and use that as a layer of defense so he doesn't have to rely on slipping punches. And because of that, Kovalev is able to take advantage of that counterpunching style and kind of reverse engineer counterpunches by baiting counterpunches from his opponent, boom, and then landing his own counterpunch to the counterpunch. Just really brilliant boxing from Kovalev. And then the other one is that he has a very active and a very, how do you say it? His offense is not perfunctory, right? We know that he's looking to set up his punches and bait the jab from his opponent, but even when that doesn't happen, he's still able to audible and make an adjustment to still land punches and still be active and land these punches here, even though he is trying to bait the jab from Shabransky. Then again, controlling his opponent with the control, controlling his opponent's weight, blocking him from being able to transfer his weight and land shots, slipping those shots, again, feinting, walking his opponent into punches when they're trying to be aggressive, controlling them, and then timing them when they step with their punches again, landing great shots, timing him when he shoots his jab, timing him again, and then timing him again, all showing that he's paying a lot of attention to his opponent and understands how to layer his opponent's layer his attacks, break down the layers of his opponent's attacks, and get them to commit to stuff and walk into punches. Just a brilliant scientist that Kovalev is. He's just a brilliant boxing scientist. In spite of the fact that he didn't win his 2 fights against Ward, he's just a very, very good fighter, and I definitely still think that he's the best at 175. I wouldn't even be mad if he wound up collecting all the belts again, and then Andre Ward wanted to fight him again. I wouldn't be mad. Yeah. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the video. Don't forget to like my page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter, or Twatter as I call it. I hate them. Man, I signed up with them. I'm gonna rant with you guys a little bit. I hate giving out my personal information, giving someone my phone number, giving them my goddamn email, and literally like an hour or 2 hours after I signed up for Twitter, they make you give them your phone number, and I started getting text messages from bots, prostitute bots, sending me sending me messages like for $125 an hour or whatever, you can get like an hour of service or whatever, and I'm getting, and then it has a link sending me to some website or whatever that I can, I don't know. I didn't go to the website, but like, come on, twatter. What the hell? Like, for real? Like, not even an hour goes by and you've already sold my phone number to somebody, to some freaking bot? God damn. Rant over. Anyway, follow me on that garbage. Show me that it was worth it and that I didn't just sign myself up for all these inappropriate texts for no reason. Yeah, and let me know what you guys think about the video. I'm going to have a full fight breakdown of how I think the fight is going to go between Eleider Alvarez and Sergey Kovalev, probably tomorrow, unless there's a lot of comments in the section over the night about wanting a Dillian White-Parker one, which I'm actually very excited for that fight as well. But let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter, all that bullshit. Thanks, guys.